Fox Sports.
We are Black. We are San Diego.
Chris DeNorfia and the Padres are home, where they've won 21 of their last 28 games and 6 in a row on their last homestand. DeNorfia especially effective against the Dodgers and Hanley Ramirez. And the Dodgers here, the first of a 4-game series. Ramirez off a disabled list. A hot day yesterday in New York, went 6 for 8, a home run and 4 runs batted in. As we welcome you to beautiful Petco Park in downtown San Diego, the opener of this series, the Dodgers and the Padres. And good evening, everyone, along with Mark Grant and Tony Gwynn, Dick Enberg. We're pleased you've joined us for the first of 4. Jason Marquis gets the call, and who better to go against the Dodgers? He has won 8 consecutive decisions.
From April through September, Jason Marquis is a big league pitcher. In the offseason, he's a magician. You know what? I say that kind of jokingly, but let's face it, folks. He's been doing quite well this year, trying to go for his 10th victory. 6-0 his last 7 home starts, but a lot of base runners. 15 walks in 27 of his last innings pitched. So what is it for Jason Marquis? Getting the feel early. We talked earlier about 3 quality hitters. Puig, Ethier, Hernandez, or Hanley Ramirez, rather, getting hot. If he can get that feel early in this game for the slider and the split finger, I don't think Jason Marquis should have much problem with this Dodger lineup tonight.
And Marquis 6-0 in his last 6 starts, and the Padres in the last 7 are 7-0. So he has had the winning magic going for him. Yasiel Puig, we saw him make his debut at Dodger Stadium a couple 3 weeks ago, has been absolutely sensational, Tony.
He really has. And you know, granted, he's only played 15 games, but those 15 games, look at the numbers, 474, 5 homers, 11 RBIs. You know, he plays defense, he can run. You know, he kind of reminds me of a Bo Jackson type, 6'3", 245. But he's kind of given this team a lift. Now, granted, the Dodgers are still in last place, and you know, they're going to have some issues when guys get healthy, but right now he's kind of giving them the spark that they've needed, and he's kind of grabbing the attention of the country too. He played yesterday in New York, was a big, you know, was a big deal yesterday, going 4 for 9. He's giving them exactly what they'd like to have.
15 games for Puig. He's had 2 hits or more in 10 of those 15. Sounds like Tony Gwynn reincarnated.
Hey, Dick, what did you win, the 100-meter relay on the gold medal there?
Nice.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about the Ronald Reagan Media Award.
Congratulations.
Very honored. And there's Judy Sweet, the former athletic director at the University of California, San Diego, making the presentation. You know, it's nice when you can outlive the competition. Coming up, that pitcher-catcher articulation. We'll talk about how that catcher is the pitcher's best friend. Laura McKeeman with that report when we come back.
Padres are back in town. Folks, you're going to want to stay tuned for this entire weekend because we are debuting the Phantom Cam. It's a super slow-mo cam, and you'll see many more shots like this. You won't want to miss it. Welcome back to Petco Park. The Padres welcome the Dodgers in town for a 4-game series that starts tonight. I'm Laura McKeeman. Well, Jason Marquis will be on the mound this evening for the Friars, and he's won each of his last 8 starts. Now, I asked his catcher, VASMANI, GRANDAL, how he helps Marquis get in a rhythm on the bump. You might be surprised at GRANDAL's answer here in our Geico quote of the game.
I have no clue. I wish I could tell you, but I don't. I mean, like I said, it goes back to his rhythm. You know, he wants to start when he's going to start. He already knows what he wants to throw. So if I'm throwing numbers down that he doesn't like, he's going to keep on shaking off. As soon as I get the right number down, I try to get down as soon as possible so he can throw it there. But it really doesn't scare me at all where if he's throwing the ball and I don't know what's coming, you know, it's not coming as hard as it usually does. So, but other than that, I think it's a good thing for him because hitters kind of don't really know what's going to come because he's shaking off halfway through. So
GRANDAL also noted Jason Marquis' style of pitching to contact and letting his defense work behind him as another reason for his success. Well, the NL West race is exciting. Coming up, you'll see more of this rivalry. It's the Padres and the Dodgers right after this.
Decisions in a row, all victories, 6 in a row, wins here at Petco. Ready to go. Skip Schumacher leads it off for the Dodgers. And on a beautiful Thursday night in San Diego, the opening pitch. Down low, ball 1. Schumacher has had a good success throughout his entire career with the Cardinals and now with the Dodgers against right-handed pitching. He's a .300 hitter plus against righties. And 2-0 the count. Marquis, while he's had this incredible run of victories this year, boasting a 9-2 overall mark, he has walked more than he likes and is one of the leaders in the league and most bases on balls. That's a strike, although a kind call from Marvin Hudson.
Well, hopefully Jason Marquis gets that feel. The more feel he gets out there, the more grounders, the more busier the infielders will be.
And the count runs to 3-1.
his last start, he was kind of struggling with that field.
Yep.
Schumacher with Yasiel Puig on deck. And the 3-1 delivery coming up. Boy, a couple of pitches outside the strike zone called strikes, a couple on the corner or on the knees not called strikes. That'll confuse the pitcher and the hitter.
Well, with a sinker baller like Marquis, he's got to throw a good one down and away here.
And he rolls a ground ball to the second baseman Forsythe for the first down. Let's look at the Dodger lineup. It's brought to you by Hyundai. Schumacher, then Puig. Adrian Gonzalez hits third. Hanley Ramirez off the DL, and he's been red hot. Andre Ethier in center field, bats fifth. Juan Uribe sixth. A.J. Ellis and Mark Ellis, not related, at catcher, second base, seventh and eighth. And Stephen Fife will make the starting appearance tonight. His 10th career start in the major leagues. Puig, 27 hits in his first 15 games. And he hits this one a ton to right center field. That ball way out and gone. He's amazing. His 16th game, his 6th home run already, and the Dodgers lead 1-0. Boy, that ball, just the sound off the bat.
That wasn't even a strike either. That ball was up out of the zone.
Up and away, Tony.
Man, he drove that to right center field.
In fact, up, maybe outer third. He still looked like he got his hands in there a little bit. He didn't even get fully extended on that one. It was just elevated, outer third.
Well, the Dodgers needed a spark with injuries and a slow beginning of this season, and Puig has certainly given them all of that. But even with the success of that lineup for Don Mattingly in the last 6 games, they have won only 2 of those 6. Mark McGuire there congratulating the 22-year-old Cuban. Adrian Gonzalez.
Remember, we talked about the 3 hot hitters as Adrian digs in. Got to keep that ball down and away, knee high. Even lower, because he'll swing at that as well.
Gonzalez, 18 games since leaving the Padres to face his former teammates, and he's hit safely in 17 of the 18 games. A robust .425 in those 18 games against the Friars. Well, that home run by Puig certainly shaking things up early here at Petco. 2-1 now to Gonzalez.
I'm really surprised Mark challenged him.
3-1.
Challenged him in the zone with a fastball. You know, I watched both games yesterday when in New York, and the Yankees did a good job just throwing their breaking ball changeup for strikes. And when they threw him for strikes, they got him out. But when they didn't and got behind in the count and had to come with something hard, he's right on it.
Yeah, the times that the Padre pitching staff has struck out these or gotten these Dodger hitters out, Tony, like you said, it's getting ahead of the count and then throwing some soft stuff and get them on their front foot, and, avoiding the sweet spot.
Yeah, I would equate it to like facing Bryce Harper when he came up last year.
Ground ball right side, blanks there, flip to Marquis for the 3-1 put out. Let's check the Padre defense, brought to you tonight by Aramco Group. Left to right in the outfield, Denorfia, Amarista in center, Venable in right, Headley, Siriaco at short, Forsythe at second, Blanks at first. Grandal behind the plate, and we can't emphasize enough, you look at that defensive alignment, the Padres without first baseman Alonso, without Jerko, the second baseman, without Cabrera, the spark plug and catalyst at short, without the center fielder Maben, and yet still playing great ball.
Well, here's the scouting report on Jason Marquis. Oh, what a feeling. Remember that feeling he got against Arizona? He also gave up a home run in the first inning against the Diamondbacks. 2-run shot to Montero. Hey, and forget about it. The signs I'm talking about. Remember what Yasmani was talking about? Just throw what feels most comfortable for you. And I'll tell you what, guys, to elaborate on that point, Grandal never looks like he gets crossed up. If he doesn't know what's coming, he does a good job of hanging in there.
Yeah, you'll see it happen tonight. Marquis in the middle of a windup will still be shaking off his catcher. He doesn't know what he's going to get. Especially with no one on base, where if it does get by Grandal, it doesn't hurt you. 1-1. Ramirez, doubleheader yesterday against the Yankees. 2 for 4 in one game and 4 for 4 in the other. Missed 52 games out of spring training. Dodgers happy to get him back in the lineup. Sharply hit and into left field for a base hit. A 2-out single from Ramirez, and that'll bring up Andre Ethier.
Sinker, middle of the plate.
Yeah, just didn't get it out there enough. Yep. Off his front foot, Tony. His back foot coming off the ground there.
Just kind of rolls over it, but it goes in the hole for a base hit.
Siriaco with a dive. Couldn't quite get there. Everett Cabrera on the 15-day disabled list, retroactive to last Monday. Carlos Quentin still day-to-day, not on the DL, and no official word as to whether or not he's available as a pinch hitter tonight. Ethier has had his best hitting success against the Padres. 21 home runs and 80 runs batted in against San Diego pitching. Puig with a home run. Just proving once again to the fans that come to see him for the first time that he may well indeed be the real deal. No one's really made him look bad yet. Swinging the bat. 1-0. And let's go to that phantom cam and analyze this pitching motion, Mark.
Well, first of all, look at the elbow. Look at the torque of the elbow. The skin actually coming off the elbow there, and then pronating on the two-seam sinker. What in the Mike Marshall's going on with the screwball there?
And you wonder why pitchers get sore arms.
Yeah.
Tommy John surgery.
Wow, that's the phantom cam, and that is very nice. That is sweet.
3-0 now to Ethier.
There's Jimmy G pushing the buttons and doing whatever he is doing down there.
Well, that's the phantom cam. I thought it operated without anyone
With
behind
nobody,
it.
right.
Yeah, just a phantom. Left field, shallow, and just foul. So Ethier green lighted 3-0.
I think that'll give you a little bit of insight as to how the Dodgers have struggled this year. Run on the board, 3-0 count. Marquis kind of struggling with his command right now, and he gives him the green light.
The Dodgers started tonight. Puig's home run inches it up 1, but the Padres have out-homered the Dodgers 72-52 so far this year. Foul tip, and the count goes full. It might have been ball 4.
That just goes to show you right there. Fastball count, he'll chase. That ball clearly in the dirt. Hitters count at 3-1.
Juan Uribe, the veteran third baseman, on deck. Blanks playing behind Ramirez, who will take off with the pitch, and the fly ball lifted behind short, shallow left to Norfia. And that's it for the Dodgers, but they strike first on Yasiel Puig's opposite field home run. His 6th already in 16 games. hits another home run. Touch him all. He hits one deep to left field. Throws him out. And Jerko has hit it out. Kyle Blanks. A taste of past action between these two teams. The Padres start tonight 5 games in front of the last place Dodgers, and Puig, who debuted against San Diego back on June 4th and hit back-to-back home runs and 5 runs batted in plus a double, and he homers his first time up tonight. Logan Forsythe starts it for the Padres in the first against Stephen Fife. Fife, 26 years of age, has one major league win, and that was against the Padres, a 2-1 win earlier this month. And he showed a pretty good breaking ball in Dodger Stadium, Mud.
Yes, he did. Got an opportunity, right? That's all he really needs with the way that the pitching staff was going. Have some injuries, fastball, curveball, changeup, and a slider. Nothing really that sticks out as far as like a trick pitch. It's only going to throw about 86 to 93.
Sharply hit, but right to the second baseman Mark Ellis for the first out. A check of the Padres starting lineup for Bud Black, brought to you by Toyota. Forsythe, Venable, then third baseman Chase Headley. Kyle Blanks back in the cleanup spot with Chris Denorfia hitting fifth. Alexi Amarista 2 for 3 against Fife in the game up at Dodger Stadium. He's in center field. Yasmani Grandal behind the plate. Pedro Siriaco for Everett Cabrera at shortstop, and Jason Marquis will hit ninth and wields a good bat. Venable, 10 home runs now to lead the Padres. Homered yesterday in San Francisco in the third inning. So he's on a pace, not quite at midseason in 2013, to hit 20+ home runs. Ground ball pulled. Oh, Gonzalez takes a double away from Venable. Yeah, that great glove of Gonzalez just snuffing out that bid for extra bases. 2 away. Here's the Dodger defense. Brought to you by Hyundai. Schumacher in left, Ethier in center, Puig in right. Infield of Uribe, Ramirez, Ellis, and Gonzalez. H.A. Ellis behind the plate, and Fife on the mound.
Now Stephen Fife, the right-hander, pretty basic as we mentioned. He's not overpowering, and the secondary pitch for Fife, he loves his curveball. He's got a 12-6 curveball. He'll mix in the slider and a changeup as well. So he's got to rely on location and a little bit of deception. Pretty basic.
Headley takes strike one.
Yeah, both guys tonight, Marquis and Fife. Not overpowering guys, depend on location, depend on movement.
Tony, you saw Fife throw in college, right?
Yeah, Fife. That's the conference pitcher of the year in our conference.
University of Utah.
Yep. The Utes.
Yep.
Grew up in Boise, Idaho, and helped lead Boise to the Little League World Series as a youngster back in 1999. Dad, a football player at the University of Hawaii. And Headley, who leads the team in strikeouts, goes down swinging here in the first. 1-0 Dodgers after 1.
And a little injury update for you. Carlos Quentin, Bud Black said earlier today, is feeling better. The shoulder is improving, and he feels at this point a DL stint for Quentin is unlikely. He said he's not available tonight. He also went on to say that Jed Jerko ran today, testing out that groin injury, and he feels that a rehab assignment in the minor leagues will be likely for Jerko. Finally, Yonder Alonso, whose hand is improving, will get an MRI and a CAT scan on Monday or Tuesday. He'll see a hand specialist then as well. And he said that he expects to return on July 1st, Dick.
Well, those are some good reports. Thank you, Laura. Getting Quentin back in the middle of the lineup. Certainly we've known and seen last year how that just boosted everyone around him. And to get Jerko's hot bat back, and Cabrera's expected to return after another 10 games.
Yeah, get well soon. Need those shillelaghs in that lineup.
Marquis falls behind Juan Uribe 3-1, leading off the top of the second with A.J. Ellis and then Mark Ellis to follow for the Dodgers. That ball's hit hard and high and deep to left center field. Denorfia just enough room. Off the bat, Uribe thought he had a home run.
I thought that ball had a chance as well. Maybe out in front just a little bit. Got it off the sweet spot, but Tony, if you look at that swing, he may have gotten it just out in front a little bit.
Well, I was watching the defender. It's a breaking ball. He's kind of got it out the end. And both Denorfia and Amarista were running as if they had it. See Denorfia call for it late, make the play.
First pitch strike to A.J. Ellis. 6 batters faced by Marquis so far, and he's gone to a 3-ball count to 4 of them. Trying to settle in as he did the last time out. Ground ball into the hole. Siriaco, the long throw, in time. That'll bring up second baseman Mark Ellis.
I figure if Jason Marquis walks about 5 tonight, he should be good to go. I know that's not what he wants to do. That's not in the game plan. But hey, after that first inning home run, first 2 sent down here.
Well, compared to his last start, he seems to have found his rhythm now and throwing a whole lot more strikes now.
Remember, his last outing was against Arizona last Saturday when he was angry at himself. Really showed his temper. He was disappointed with the start. He walked Goldschmidt, and Montero hit a 2-run homer in the first inning. He eventually settled down. And he went 6 2/3, allowing just 3 runs and only 3 hits.
If Jason can get that feel down to the right-handed hitters, you know that 2-seamer that comes back around and hits the outside part of the plate, that's when he's going to be money, and that's when he's going to go deep into the game and have a lot of success.
2 strikes the count on Mark Ellis. And an excuse me swing to the facing of the Padre dugout on the first base side. Tomorrow night, game 2, 6:30 for our telecast on Fox Sports San Diego. Rick Renteria there fielding that foul ball. The Claytons will be on the mound, the lefties, tomorrow night. Clayton Richard for the Padres, Clayton Kershaw for the Dodgers. How about this? Kershaw is 5-4. And then you look at his ERA, 1.84.
I saw that. Looking at their stats today, it's hard to believe he's lost 4 games.
1-0, 2-1 games. Headley into the hole to glove that one and throw him out. So Marquis bounces back, a 1-2-3 second inning. Phantom can. That really slows down the action.
Poll question brought to you by AT&T tonight. We're going to double up on it because we want your fans out there to really get involved. The question is, who should represent the Padres in New York City at the Midsummer Classic this year? Cabrera, Marquis, Gregerson, or Jerko? Use the hashtag, use the player's name, and we will get back with the results later. Yesterday, Cabrera won big time. So get involved again, and thanks for playing.
Cabrera itching to get back in the lineup and almost to protect himself. The Padres put him on the DL, so they'll have a full time to heal. There's that big overhand curveball from Stephen Fife. And the count goes 1-1 to Kyle Blanks. Jams him there, 1-2. Blanks has had good success against Dodger pitching, 391. Couple of home runs. Total of 8. Almost hit that outside corner, the shoulders. 2-2. Denorfia and Amarista to follow here in the second inning. 1-0 Dodgers. He went around. A couple of strikeouts in a row for Stephen Fife.
Well, last time we saw Stephen Fife up in L.A., he's got a herky-jerky motion, kind of. Does a little stutter step, kind of like always in the stretch position, but a higher arm angle. See the ball coming out? That's the old 12-6 curveball rotation. But still, your arm pronates in. That's the amazing thing about it. You might throw the ball like that, and it feels like you're staying that way, but your arm actually naturally goes in like that.
It is
the arm was not made to do that.
Human anatomy lesson. And the same, as you said, the quarterbacks, when you see them throw, as they release the ball, they turn the thumb inside out, not around. Otherwise, they're throwing a curveball, which is not a good thing. Chris Denorfia.
Here's the weird part, though. As a hitter, when you play the game long enough, as a hitter, you're almost able to slow it down like it looks on that camera.
You are.
Yeah.
When it's going good,
see,
that's how slow that
when you're
ball's
going good, you can see the fingers on the baseball. You can see the seams. You can, like when Fife threw that breaking ball right there, you see how his fingers came over the top of that. As a hitter, you can see that.
Well, that explains to me then why my career was in fast motion the whole time.
Sorry, Mud. But
no, but that makes sense because I know you talk about slowing the game down. Mark Sweeney talks about slowing it down.
Again, when you're standing up there in the batter's box, you can't always guess. Right. Sometimes you got to see the ball out of his hand.
But Tony, you were so gifted as far as with eyesight, and do you kind of sit back and think, how come guys can't see like I can? Or do you realize that you're blessed?
Realized that, my eyesight was really good. I was different.
3-1, and that chopped foul at the plate.
Because you'd have conversations with guys, and I used to ask, like, for instance, Kenny Rogers. Whenever he threw his breaking ball, you could see his index finger off the baseball. And I would ask other guys on the bench, hey, you see his finger? When he throws that finger in the air, it's a breaking ball. And they were like, what finger? What are you talking about?
Right. He went after ball 4, and it's a 4-3 put out. 5 in a row now retired by Stephen Fife. And I suppose, now that you're coaching younger players, young guys, and you have to kind of pull yourself back.
Absolutely.
Because you did see so much more from out of the hand than a young kid can.
Yeah, and, again, it's some of it's experience. The more guys you face, the more comfortable you get. Some guys are never going to be able to do certain things. But the one thing I've learned about this game is you got to keep it simple. Can't complicate it. And more times than not, guys get themselves into trouble by making it more complicated.
See ball, hit ball, huh?
Ted Williams, see the ball, hit the ball.
Amarista fouls that one away, and it's 0-2.
I think that's also a testament to you as not only as a Hall of Famer, a player, and now a coach, but realizing, hey, you know what? I've got to deal with trying to teach these kids how to make an adjustment because you saw the ball so well, and you understanding how they can't hit like you hit or see the ball like you saw the ball.
Swing and a miss, strike 3, and Stephen Fife has struck out 3 of the first 6 men that he has faced, and we are going to see Weig again. Brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Most consecutive winning decisions by a Padres starter. Jason Marquis 3 away from Brown, Hoyt, and Hawkins, who recorded 11 straight wins. And Jason Marquis has tied Adam Eaton and Jake Peavy with 6 straight wins here at Petco. Trying to establish that mark all to his own. 7 in a row tonight. Stephen Fife won the count, looking for his first major league hit. He was a high school quarterback, didn't really pitch seriously until he was a senior in high school. And he's showing the same kind of good stuff that he offered against the Padres up at Dodger Stadium. 3 strikeouts, 6 up, 6 down. Schumacher and Puig to follow here in the third. 1-0 Dodgers.
Good two-seamer. He's got such a good two-seamer. When he has that feel we've been talking about, he can throw it to the heart of the plate, just above the knees, and he'll get a lot of swings and misses.
Yeah.
He goes full count, though, to Fife. That's the 5th hitter going through the lineup the first time for the Dodgers that have taken the count to 3 balls. Yeah, nice turnout on this Thursday night. Padres drawstring backpack and college night. And tomorrow night it'll be Hispanic Heritage Comunidad Award night and Law Enforcement night. Hope you're going to be here with us. And he walks the pitcher, the leadoff man. First walk. And that brings up the leadoff hitter, Skip Schumacher.
He felt like that was a pretty good pitch right there, 3-2.
We're just into the third inning, already 40 pitches from Marquis. Schumacher rolled out to Forsythe, second baseman the first time up.
I guess they'll just have to roll too, huh? Schumacher has grounded into 3 double plays this year.
Pesky hitter, 295 in his 40 games against the Padres.
He's a really good situational hitter too.
2-0.
willing to see some pitches, work the camp. It's a guy you can play hit and run with.
Yep.
Fife, the pitcher, with the leadoff walk at first. And Schumacher, a 2-0 pitch coming up. 3-0. Wobbly start for Marquis.
I hated 3-0 after especially walking somebody.
Matt Kemp not off the DL as yet. When he comes back, the Padres are going to have all their ammunition ready. Hanley Ramirez has returned and contributing. Strike. 3-2.
It'd be interesting in what they do. If Kemp goes back to center, Ethier goes back to right. I guess Carl Crawford will still be out and put Puig in left, but
Kershaw there in the center gets the start tomorrow night. Lilly on the left, Capuano on the right. Capuano with a 7 innings of shutout ball against the Yankees yesterday. Yeah, they're going to have an overload of outfielders with Puig, so they can't take him out of the lineup. You have revolt up there in Chavez Ravine.
It's going to really be hard. You know, Ether's making $15 million, and Kemp's making 20, and Crawford's making 22. And Puig might be their best guy.
Yeah. Well, he got $41 million before he even entered the United States.
Yep.
Seven-year contract, $41 million. Dodgers had him well scouted. But he barely hit over 300 in the minor leagues. He's seems the higher he goes, the better he becomes.
Well, you know what, and Tony, I know you've talked about this before. The higher you go, guys are more around the plate.
Yep.
You know, in the minor league, guys really don't have a plan. They're kind of wild, and you know, up at this level, you're going to get guys who know what they're doing.
Especially at the beginning, it's a little bit easier at the beginning because guys are around the plate.
That's foul ball. Foul ball. Blanks leaning into foul territory, but it was well fouled. And the count remains 3-2 on Schumacher.
You want to get out of the way for Davey Lopes, so Kyle Blanks is coming at you, diving after a baseball.
Ninth pitch of this at bat coming up. There's Davey Lopes, terrific base runner, outstanding second baseman, coach, manager, all business. Line to left, base hit. So on the ninth pitch of the at bat, Schumacher gets something he can handle. And the Dodgers have the first 2 men aboard with no one out here in the third. And here he comes. Yasiel Puig.
Well, you ain't kidding, Tony, when you say that Schumacher's a pesky hitter. Sure, that ball was elevated a little bit, but he did a nice job of just spanking that ball the opposite way.
Well, that's what he was trying to do with that sinker, and that's how you hit it. You let it get deep.
See how his palm stayed flat too through the swing?
Stayed right up through the swing.
Just like you were talking about in the instruction.
Puig's home run to right center field into the sandbox. Thus far in his brief major league career, runners in scoring position 5 for 8. First time up, got something high, and he set it far.
It's out over the plate. So right there on that first pitch, they were not gonna let him get extended. He ran a sinker in.
There's another good sinker in.
Compact swing though, Tony.
I want to see him more. I watched, like I said, I watched both games in New York yesterday, and you can tell that, you know, he's got that feel. He's got that feel because he knows he's swinging good right now. But again, you know, he at some point he's going to have to prove that he can hit an off-speed pitch, hit a breaking ball, hit a changeup.
There's that slider away.
1-2.
Remember the pregame show talked about how he doesn't like the ball in. Jason Marquis first couple pitches in, and then a slider down away, front shoulder opens up.
See, he's out in front, and the top hand comes off. And again, the hardest thing to do as a hitter is to let the ball travel, is to wait.
Struck him out with another slider. Now Marquis wins that battle. His first strikeout brings up Adrian Gonzalez.
And again, you get a young player who's kind of fired up, enthused about the way he's swinging the bat, and you speed him up by throwing off speed stuff. And you see, he wasn't close to any of those breaking balls.
Gonzalez grounded to Blanks, the first baseman, his first time up. Fife and Schumacher aboard, 1 out. And a foul ball. The most runs batted in the last 5.5 years. Cabrera in Detroit. Ryan Howard, Philadelphia. Fielder now in Detroit. Pujols now with the Angels. And Adrian Gonzalez, number 5. Some of those in Boston. And of course, as the Padres' most valuable player 4 times. Many a run batted in wearing SD on his helmet.
That is some big time clutch hitting right there, and just being an all around good hitter. That's a lot of runs batted in.
Yeah.
My goodness. What's the most you've had in a season, Tony? 120, was it?
119.
119. Yeah. It's only fitting 19, right? 119.
Stop there, huh? That one lays foul down the left field side. Now the overswing, just trying to peck that one into the outfield.
Tony, did you always have the philosophy where the pressure's on the pitcher with runners in scoring position?
Yep. But I think the thing that worked in my favor was the fact I didn't hit home runs. I wasn't a home run guy. And so I could take a ball like that ball Adrian just fouled off. I could take a sinker running away, maybe, 2-3 inches off the plate and just hit it to left field for a base hit. Didn't necessarily have to hit a strike.
Infield set for 2. 2-strike pitch coming up. Siriaco was out of position. He had moved in as if Marquis might be trying to pick off that runner, the pitcher at second base, and Marquis delivered the ball. That left the left side wide open.
Stephen Fife's been bouncing around out there at second base.
Mark Sweeney has talked about it, and you just mentioned it again, Tony Gwynn. And I think for the average fan, average young ball player, it's hard to understand. You got to wait, let the ball come deeper into you. It seems like you want to get out in front and get that ball.
Yeah, and most hitters, that's what they want to do. They want to go get it. They want to attack the baseball. And really, your best hitters are guys who let the ball come in.
Got him off speed. The changeup strikes out Gonzalez. So a bounce back after the first 2 men aboard for Marquis, striking out Puig, and now Gonzalez.
Well, remember, Jason Marquis throws the changeup. I thought that was a changeup. He also throws the split finger. Boy, what great tumbling action. The Phantom Cam. Oh, that's the slow motion camera. That was the split finger fastball. You can see the fingers around the baseball and the tumbling action, and Adrian just misses it. Good pitch by Jason Marquis.
Almost like a knuckleball, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ramirez singled through the left side his first time. A .333 average facing Marquis, just 27 at bats with a home run. Well spotted.
He threw some great sliders to Puig. First pitch slider to HANLEY Ramirez. Nicely done on the outside corner.
Fourteenth major league season for Jason Marquis. 121 big league wins.
A lot of pitches. That was pitch number 60. 60 pitches to get 8 outs.
Fife, the pitcher, leadoff walk. Now at second. Schumacher at first. 2 out. And the 1-1 pitch.
We would call these pitches stressful pitches. First and second, nobody out. He's struck out Puig, struck out Gonzalez. Now trying to get Ramirez out.
See, with the 2-seam sinkers in, that's why Headley is hugging that line. If he makes contact, it's going to be a grounder.
Chases. The breaking ball, low and away. 2-2.
Puig chased the breaking ball. HANLEY Ramirez does just the same.
Well, we were talking about guys wanting to go get the ball. When you're facing a guy like Marquis who doesn't throw hard, that's what a lot of times you end up doing, is you want to go get it.
You got to throw him another slider here, don't you think?
And, yeah. A slider or that split finger.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's going in.
Line right to Headley. You called it, Mark Grant. Guarding the line, and that one whistled right to the leather of the Padre third baseman. And Marquis pitches out of trouble. Oh, my.
Puig home run. The difference in this one as the Dodgers lead the Padres 1-0. Well, Yonder Alonso, trying to make the most of his time on the DL, says he's really become more of a student of the game, spending plenty of time watching film and, of course, watching game action live. He said he's almost like the third hitting coach. When players come out of the game and back to the Padres bench, he's able to give them some advice. And, of course, he was having plenty of success at the plate before he injured his hand. He also said it helps that he speaks Spanish, so some of the players who are more comfortable speaking Spanish can get their advice from Alonso in their native language. Dick, Bud Black also mentioned today that the Padres may have some difficult decisions when some of their starters come off the DL.
Well, that's for sure, Laura, and that's a nice problem to have. You've got a multitude of talent, and the club has really gone to the minor leagues and to the bench guys, and they've delivered. That's why the Padres are sitting only 3 games out of first place. VASMANI, Grandal. Padres yet to get a base runner in the first 2 innings. 2-0 the count. Cameron Maben. He's going to be out for a couple of months with that knee injury. We got 4 games back from the wrist injury and then the knee. 3-0 to Grandal.
Hey, got to get that pitch count up. Speaking of pitch counts, Jason Marquis 63. Fife out there before this inning started 24, not wasting many bullets.
Marquis will get a chance to swing a bat, and that's a 4-pitch walk to Grandal. So Fife will have to work from the stretch for the first time. Fife is in his 10th start of his major league career. The first 9, 8 of the 9, he allowed 2 runs or less. So he's worked his way up and earning the spot in the rotation because of other injuries and failures. Capuano was hurt. Lilly was hurt.
Pitching coach Rick Honeycutt having a close eye on Fife as he works out of the stretch for the first time, as you mentioned, Dick.
Pedro Siriaco as a Padre, 5 for 13. High strike.
What a great kid, Pedro Siriaco. Interviewed him in San Francisco. Had a great story. Asked him about playing golf in the Dominican Republic. He goes, I struck out in the tee box. Swing and a miss 3 times, and the ball sitting still. Great kid.
Big hole right side to shoot at. 1-1.
What are you talking about, that Dick, on the right side there? Look at that. You can drive a Mack truck through there. A few of them.
Drive it through there sideways, huh? Colorado lost tonight to Washington in Washington 5-1. Loop to right. That could be a tough play, but hangs up for Puig for the first down. Wasn't playing very deep for Siriaco. So that brings up Jason Marquis. So Colorado loses tonight. So the Padres can beat the Dodgers. They'll move past Colorado into 3rd place in the NL West. Giants a game and a half off Arizona's lead. They're hosting Miami. There are the standings with Colorado's loss already factored in. So Padres and the Rockies at the moment both playing at the 500 level. Marquis and Jason with that good bat control and a good hitter. He might be just showing that bunt stance as a bluff.
Well, here's what I always focus on: the bottom hand. When the pitcher shows bunt, if he keeps that bottom hand closer to the knob, that's a greater chance that he could pull back. If the bottom hand is up higher, chances are he's probably going to bunt.
Yep, here he is, a swinging bunt, and Fife able to get him at first base. It serves as a sacrifice. And the tying run with 2 outs. Grandal at second for Logan Forsythe. Forsythe grounded to second base his first at bat. The Padres expect well over 100,000 for the 4-game series over the weekend. They'll pass the 1 million mark in attendance probably on Saturday night. When Zach Greinke makes his first appearance back at Petco Park since the skirmish back in April. No question that impacted the start of the season for the Dodgers. Broken collarbone. He's 3-2. 2 strikes now to Forsythe.
Oh, and Marvin Hudson called that first pitch a strike. You know, Logan Forsythe has to offer that next pitch that was up around the letters as well.
Here's where Fife, what he's done to get some of the strikeouts is, you know, he's challenged guys up in the zone. He's challenging them, you know, letter high in the strike zone. And he's gotten guys to chase that.
He's going up the ladder right here.
And Forsythe holds back 1-2.
What do you like about Logan Forsythe, Tony, when you see him?
I just like his complete game. He brings it to the table every day. And whether he's playing left field, second base, shortstop, wherever, you know, he gives you good at bats, and he gives you, you know, he gives you good effort every day.
I'm guessing curveball right here.
Line to center, but it's carrying and caught by Ethier. Stephen Fife threw 3 innings, no hits.
Padres 1-0. And hey, it's college night here in Petco Park, but it's also zombie night. A little bit of an eerie scene for the first pitch. And as you can see, kind of looks like a normal first pitch today, but it was not the case as the zombies came out, the Walking Dead here in Petco Park. And I have to tell you, the bullpen was very confused by this as they looked on, and Houston Street just said, unbelievable.
Looks like a sportscaster's convention to me. Tough road trip, gang. Chase Headley a little late getting back out, and Marquis takes a few extra throws with his shortstop Siriaco. 1-0 Dodgers here in the top of the 4th inning. Ethier, Uribe, and Ellis. There's some of the college kids enjoying the game.
It'd be tough to be in zombie character all night. I mean, you got to, you know, let loose a little bit, have a social sparkler. Since it's college night, right?
Yeah, maybe. Ethier. Fly to left field his first time. Now, what are those zombies doing after the game, do you suppose?
Probably wandering the streets of San Diego. Make another Thriller video.
We didn't get the note on what occasion brings them to Petco tonight. It's not a convention of zombies, let's hope. There's college kids up in the upper right field area. Nice turnout on this Thursday night.
Yeah, you can't beat fun at the old ballpark.
No, you can't. Ethier chases 2-2. There's that split finger.
Yeah. Especially with 2 strikes, Ethier will chase. He'll try to protect, expand the strike zone, and swing and miss. Or hit a weak little grounder on the infield. It's got to be down, though.
Hasn't thrown any of the first 5 pitches in the strike zone, and the count goes full.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Look at all through there. Those pitches. Way out of the zone.
Got him. 6 pitches, all out of the strike zone. Ethier strikes out. 3 strikeouts now for Marquis.
Man, it's hard to pitch like that. You know, when you're not throwing the strikes, you know, to make the hitter swing at stuff that's might start in the zone and goes out of the zone, it is so difficult.
And you know, there's the Phantom Cam again. That's nice. Darren Ballsy made a point before Jason's last start, and he said, you know, there are pitchers who throw quality strikes.
High fly ball off third, dangling over Siriaco, and just out of play.
He said that Jason Marquis throws quality balls, meaning that they're close enough to where hitters are enticed enough to offer at them, and they're not good strikes. So there's either a swing and a miss or a weakly hit fly ball, ground ball. I thought that was pretty interesting from Darren.
As a hitter, Tony, what upset you most? Pop up on the infield to the catcher, swing and a miss at a bad pitch? You didn't do that very often.
Well, that was my pet peeve, was swinging at balls out of the zone. Because at this level, if you show them you're willing to swing at something out of the zone, you're never going to get anything in it. Okay, these guys are good enough where they can throw you a ball that starts out in the strike zone, ends up going out of it, and if you're not disciplined, you know, they're going to get you out all day long.
Off the head of the bat, a slow roller to Forsythe, and he takes care of business. 2 away.
So a guy like Marquis would drive guys on the bench crazy because he's not overpowering us. You know, he's making us chase stuff that's not really strikes, and so you have to, you know, you kind of have to go up there with that discipline and, hey, I'm going to make him throw a strike, and it's hard because you get a strike on you or 2 strikes on you, and now you get a little anxious and you end up chasing something out of the zone.
But you were like Ted Williams, your idol, in that you knew the strike zone, and of course Ted was criticized that he walked too much in his career. His on-base percentage almost 500 in a career hitter, amazing. And so you tend to get pitches, don't you? I mean,
I did.
Yeah.
I mean, I did because, again, I didn't hit the ball out of the ballpark. You know, obviously, you're Ted Williams and you're hitting balls out of the ballpark, they're just not even going to mess around with you. But when you were Judy like I was, a single hitter, you know, you're going to get pitches to hit. And it was just all about waiting to get something to hit. That's why I think I liked hitting with guys in the scoring position, because they had to throw, you know, they had to come to me. Otherwise, I'll take the walk and let the next guy.
Up the middle to his left, Siriaco from his knees, not in time. H.A. Ellis, not a speedy runner, but able to leg it out for an infield hit.
Well, Siriaco did all he could do on that. I mean, diving play, throwing from his knees.
I didn't think he was going to get to this baseball at first.
He gets enough on it, Kyle, with the scoop at first, but Ellis able to beat it up.
Oh, very close.
Nice scrambling stop by Siriaco. Just unable to get a forceful throw across from his knees. So 4 hits now for the Dodgers. And a fly ball shallow and right. Venable is there. And the easiest inning of the first 4 for Jason Marquis. Venable will be leading it off. On Fox Sports, brought to you by Mossy Toyota. Mossy's summer prices get lower. Check out Mossy.com. By Petco, where the healthy pets go. By Farmers Insurance, contact your local agent at 888-96-FARMERS. And by your San Diego County Lexus dealer, inviting you to test drive a luxurious Lexus automobile tonight. Padres bring up Venable, Headley, and Blanks against Stephen Fife in the fourth. Fife has allowed only one base runner. He walked Grandal to start the third.
You know when they show that Phantom Cam? It's so slow. I catch myself being in slow motion, like I'm reaching for my pen, and it's really, you know what I'm saying? I get in that mode like I'm watching it, and I catch myself like following the ball in slow motion as well. It's mesmerizing.
Will Venable takes ball one. He flirted with the double the first time up, but Adrian Gonzalez diving on the line back of first base, able to take it away from him. 2-0. Fife not happy with that delivery.
Well, second time around now for these Padre hitters. See if they adjust. See if Fife mixes it up a little bit more off-speed stuff.
And sounded like he broke his bat on that one. Routine ground ball to second. And Fife continues to drum out the Padres.
That's just a good old-fashioned fastball, Tony, about knee high.
Fastball in. Sound like he got in on Will there, too. He Will not happy about that last swing.
Headley struck out his first time. Curveball.
Loves that curveball. Fife, that is.
Headley's average down to 220, hitting a little better left-handed, 238.
Now, so much happens for a pitcher when he throws that first pitch curveball for a strike. Now he can bounce it later in the count.
Two seam.
Yep.
Paints the inside corner.
When it's going good, you're always seems like you're always ahead in the count. When it's going bad, it seems like you're always behind in the count. Throwing strike one, throwing breaking balls for a strike. Again, he tries to go up the ladder there, 0-2.
Dodgers lead 1-0 on Puig's solo home run. Upstairs again, 2-2. Change up, fouled away.
You know, I've noticed about Chase Headley. I don't know whether he does it from the right side, but from the left side, his grip on his bat, it's almost like a golf grip.
Yeah.
He overlaps his pinky and his ring finger over his bottom hand.
He's done that for a while.
Yeah.
There it is. Struck out again.
There's that yacker.
Headley has struck out almost a third of the times he's been up, so he just has to make some adjustment here, and it's got to be eating him. He doesn't show much emotion, but when you compare what his 2012 season was as a silver slugger and leading the league in RBIs, and then suddenly to fall into the depths of this, it's been a month now that he's been in this slump.
You just got to keep believing that it's going to turn. It's going to turn.
Kyle Blank struck out his first time. Went 0 for 7 hitting cleanup against the Giants. And with the Padre injury list, Kyle moved into that number 4 spot. 1-1.
Boy, and Tony, as a hitter, if Kyle Blanks can make the adjustment to drive the ball to right center field with authority, watch out.
Well, eventually, that's what's is gonna have to happen. They're not gonna just pound you in and let you go ahead and take a shot. At some point, you have to hit that ball the other way.
That ball hit well to deep left center field. A long run for Ethier, and he can't get there. It bounces over the wall. Ground roll double for Blanks, and that's the first Padre hit tonight. A ringing double to left center.
That was a breaking ball. He hung on the inner half of the plate, and Blanks did what you're supposed to do with it. There's a hanger in the middle. He goes ahead, takes the swing, drives it into left center field. Roger Ethier looked like he might have a chance to run that ball down, but when you see the swing, that's not much effort in that. That's just taking a nice, easy swing.
Well, with 2 outs, the Padres have the tying run there in scoring position for Chris DeNorfia. Grounded out to second, his first at bat.
Looks like that fastball from Fife will cut a little bit as well. That one looked like it cut a little bit away from Chris DeNorfia.
One ball and one strike. Two and one with Alexi Amarista scheduled next. Three and one. Two outs here in the bottom of the fourth. Mattingly matching strategies with Bud Black. Blanks at second base with that double.
Well, I don't think that infield and outfield can be played more straight away, Tony, when you look at it defensively.
And you can draw a line home plate through the pitcher's rubber through second base right to the center fielder Ethier.
Pretty even on the infield as well. Shortstop, second base, and at the corners. Adrian a little bit more off at first base than Uribe at third.
Ethier and Puig out in the outfield have good arms, and so base hit doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna. I would say the center. Ethier's pretty deep out in center.
Fouled into the glove. Changeup. And the count full now. DeNorfia.
It was a good 3-1 hack.
Yeah, he was being aggressive there, 3-1.
And Fife pitching backwards, 3-1. As you mentioned, guys, the changeup cued off the end of the bat. Is out in front of it.
Ground ball to third. Uribe across. And that's it for the Padres in the fourth inning. 4 complete. Dodgers 1, San Diego nothing. And welcome back. Top of the 5th inning with Mr. Padre, Tony Gwynn, Mark Grant, Dick Enberg. Pleased you're with us. Laura McKeeman down at the field level to bring us her reports. Jason Marquis to Stephen Fife, then Schumacher and Puig in the top of the 5th inning. He walked Fife in the 3rd. And he falls behind on this occasion. 2-0 on our scoreboard, 1-0 on the Petco scoreboard. In there. And now the scoreboard operator correcting it. It's 2-1. And 2-2.
Yeah, I know I mentioned it before Jason's last start, but I think it's one of the most intriguing, most comical answers that I've ever gotten from a pitcher when asked about what is your game plan. Jason Marquis said, I have no game plan. I just have to get that feel. And you know what? It's been working for 14, 15 years.
Really working this year, 9-2, and especially here at Petco, where he's won 6 in a row. Time now for the Saquon Casino Day Cage instead of the game. Fewest strikeouts by batters this season. Dodgers don't strike out much, nor do the Giants. What is interesting, the other side of that coin, their pitchers are the 3rd most generous in walking the opposition. Schumacher single to left field and works that one outside. 1-1.
I thought the last time up with Schumacher, you gotta change things against him. You can't pitch him the same way. And the last time up, he took a sinker and backed it up and lined it in the left field.
Hitting coach for the Dodgers, Mark McGuire. Tough getting used to seeing him with that blue cap and an LA on it. And 3-1. He fell behind Schumacher the first time, and then after 9 pitches, Schumacher drilled a single opposite field. Nips the outside corner, and the count is full. Yasiel Puig, his homer, the only run in the game. And there's Schumacher finding a hole again. Singles up the middle. He's 2 for 3. Puig, home run. And then Marquis struck him out the last time.
It looked like something hanging in the middle of the plate. He went right back up the middle with it. And Marista doesn't get this ball back in. Schumacher was thinking about going for 2.
It looked like he tried to backdoor slider there.
Puig in just his 16th game, already with 6 home runs. He is a free swinger. Good breaking ball there.
First pitch slider down and away. Front side opens. Hand comes off the bat. Not a good hack.
His home run was off a high fastball. He may not see another one the rest of the series.
Slider. Last 4 sliders that Marquis has thrown to Puig. Swing and a miss.
You show him that you're going to chase it, then you're not going to get anything in the zone.
1-out single Schumacher. He's at first. 2 strikes now to Puig. As you can see, both off the plate. Both sliders. Good stop by Grandal. another breaking ball, and Puig strikes out. He didn't get a strike in that at bat, but takes the long walk. 5 strikeouts now for Marquis.
And what does he do on this one? He bounces it. He's chasing after it. Fastballs he likes very much. Breaking balls, bat's afraid. Just like Serrano in Major League. Pedro Serrano swung on and missed. Breaking ball.
Adrian Gonzalez grounded out and struck out. Ball 1, too low.
In case you're wondering at home, if you're asking the question, is he throwing balls out of the zone on purpose? The answer is yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
There goes Schumacher, a big break, and the ball gets away from Grandal. But Schumacher going in with a head-first slide, unable to get up and advance to third. No wild pitch, no pass ball. That's a stolen base, only the second all year for Schumacher.
I say Yasmani may have come up a little bit too quickly on that one, trying to pick it out of the dirt.
You saw Brandon Crawford of the Giants making that head first slide and catching his ring finger and middle finger under the base and spraining both fingers. Took him out of the lineup yesterday. Similar slide. One and two to Adrian.
Looked like Adrian's trying to hook that pitch. Marquis was shaking even before he put his foot in contact with the rubber there with Yasmani. Nah. Step off.
That's 4. So they're going back through the routine again. Schumacher leading off second, peeking in over the shoulder of Marquis.
You know, maybe he's shaking off not only pitches but also location where he wants to throw it, in or out.
1 and 2. Pounds that one foul. So Marquis, even though he's fallen behind a lot of hitters tonight, has only walked 1 man. That was the pitcher, 5 to lead off the third. He struck out 5 and has scattered 5 hits. Well, not exactly scattered. One of them went out of the yard.
Yeah.
Yasiel Puig's home run to right center.
He's made 1 bad pitch, and that was it. It was a fastball up to Puig, and he lined it out to right center field. But he scuffled with his control a little bit here. He's still
2 and 2.
Still been efficient enough. Pitch count's a little high. This will be pitch 97. But only giving up 1 run.
Yep. Trying to keep it low, trying to keep it away. Hoping Gonzalez tries to hook something, get a weak grounder to the right side.
Back to the mound, and Marquis has run that one right over to Blanks at first base. He's completed 5. It's been hard work, but Padres in it, just down by 1.
Saturday, Baseball Night in America returns as Yasiel Puig and the Dodgers going to play right here in San Diego at Petco Park. Take on the Padres. Baseball Night in America begins Saturday, 4 p.m. Pacific, right here on Fox. Get your baseball fix here in Fox.
So remember that, fans. Fox Sports San Diego will be with you tomorrow night. Then the conclusion of this series on Sunday. But the National Network will cover the game on Saturday, 4 o'clock here in San Diego. Padres need a run to tie. Alexi Amarista leads it off. One hit allowed by Fife. That was the 2-out double off the bat of Kyle Blanks in the last inning. Puig's home run, the story. Just missed. 2-0. Uribe. It's interesting how they play Amarista, who is not really for a little man with speed a bunt threat, but he's in on the grass. And there's a little looper into right field off a broken bat. Amarista is aboard. First time the Padres with a leadoff man.
A little cutter inside, broke his bat.
Now let's go our phantom camera and see the contact here as he
trademark.
Oh, that's great.
Trademark right there. Usually 2-0 pitches, that's a ball that you want to be aggressive with. Still, he got it in there enough to break his bat, but puts it in a good spot for a base hit.
VASMANI GRANDAL walked his first time. Back when we were kids, and you didn't have a lot of lumber, the old farm in Michigan. You know, you might have a bat for one season, and the coach always say, "Now keep that label up.
Yep.
Now you're going to break your bat if you don't have that label up." Anything to that, Tony?
Yeah, yes. When I signed, I didn't know that either. I didn't know the label was supposed to be up.
You're not up there to read.
Yeah. But some of the veteran guys I was playing with would tell me, "Hey, you know, your label's supposed to be up when you hit." And yeah, those bats don't like being baseballs hitting them near the label.
Something about the grain and you're more likely to break a bat, but I think more and more that you just get up there, grab it, and make it feel comfortable. You're not trying to line it up with the label facing up. 2 strikes to Grandal. Padres trying to stir up some trouble against the Dodgers right-hander Stephen Fife here in the 5th inning. Amarista does not have a stolen base this year. Padres trying to work their home magic. 21-7 their last 28 games. He went around. That's strikeout number 5 for Fife. Brings up Pedro Siriaco. He flying to right field in the 3rd inning. And then Jason Marquis scheduled next. Up the middle, one hopper off the glove of Ellis. Amarista, the play in front of him, gets right on going to 3rd. And running the ball in is Puig. A potential double play ball, but Mark Ellis caught in an in-between hop. And the Padres get a break, 1st and 3rd.
You know, initially I thought Ellis may have gotten screened by the second base umpire, Mike Muslinski, but looked like a very makeable play. This ball, another broken bat.
That's a rare error from Mark Ellis. Only his 3rd all season.
Oh, it's clearly over his head from that vantage point.
Hit that ball off the end of the bat. And it looked like Ellis tried to come in to catch that ball in the air and didn't quite get to it.
It's got to be an error, don't you think?
It is ruled an error. So 1st and 3rd for the Padres with 1 out, a chance to tie it up and maybe more here in the 5th inning. A Broken bat single, Amarista. And Siriaco's ball catching second baseman Mark Ellis between hops. Interesting visit here by Mattingly.
Yeah. I didn't know Marquis could handle the bat a little bit, and I'm sure it's just one of those discussions you want to have here. He might
hit and run.
Might hit and run.
Might squeeze.
Might squeeze. You know, he was going to bunt the last time and brought it back to Butcher Boy. See Buddy Black having a conversation with Marquis right here. And so,
you know, he might give him one free swing, right?
It's only bunted for a sacrifice once all year. So Bud Black respects his ability to swing. Lifetime hitter coming into this season at 200. Uribe creeps in on the grass at third. There goes the runner to second. And Siriaco now in scoring position.
That's a smart play right there by the Padres. Uribe's coming in for the bunt. Marquis shows bunt. And you watch Amarista, he walked right down the line with Uribe. If he tried to throw the runner out at second, Amarista might have had a chance to maybe score. Instead, Ellis eats it, and so now you get both guys in scoring position.
Surprised they didn't call that a bunt try and a miss, but it was a ball and a good swing by Marquis. 1-1. Did he go after this one? Well, he just wanted to give some movement
right.
to,
He's
for the catcher.
trying to block Ellis there.
It wasn't really a bunt attempt, but wanted to confuse perhaps the catcher's vision. There he loops it into left field. That'll do the job. The game is tied. Marquis' first RBI of the season. It's 1-1.
That's what we call service right there. He just served that ball into left field.
Well, the Padres are even, have runners at first and third with one out.
What the Ichiro Suzuki is going on with Jason Marquis? Now that is some kind of nice. Look at the backspin up there. Tony, look like maybe like a knockdown 8-iron.
Yep. He cut his hands to the inside right there. Just blocked it off into left field for a base hit.
It's a marvelous luxury for a manager to have a pitcher that can go up there and swing the bat.
Yep.
And here's Forsythe. Opportunity to take the lead. First and third, one out. Ball one. Forsythe has grounded out and hit the ball hard the last time. Lined it straight away to center fielder Ethier.
Yeah, really both balls he's hit. The ground ball to second and the ball to Ethier. He's hit on the button.
Take that last at bat to center fielder Ethier would get the run in. Chases that one in the dirt. 1-1. So a broken bat single, Amarista. Two base error on Siriaco's ball by Mark Ellis that got Amarista to third. Marquis spoons one into left, and it's a 1-1 tie.
I love that. Spoons one in the left.
Ladles it. Ground ball foul past third. That's the second RBI as a Padre for Jason Marquis. His 55th as a major league pitcher hitter. Infield back to trade a double play chance for a run. And there's another one punched into right field. Not hit hard. Great direction. Padres lead 2-1. Forsythe delivers. Siriaco scoring and getting the little hero's welcome down in that dugout. Well, Tony, it's you just don't have to overpower the ball. Nope. Just place it into all that grass out there.
That's right. And that's a nice job of hitting right there. Slider away. That's what you're supposed to do with it. He backs it up and just flips it into right field for a base hit. And he does his job. He gets the run in from third base.
And that's why I think Logan Forsythe is really going to mature into a good big league ball player, using the whole field. We know he can put the ball in the ballpark with the best of them.
That was a good pitch, too.
Yes, it was.
Fife. It was low and away. Stayed back enough to drive it to right field, and the Padres lead 2-1. Marquis moving to second base. Still only one out to Will Venable.
Oh.
We've seen Will Venable do that a lot. Is that the front foot or the back foot?
I guess I'd say the front.
Yeah, you can see.
I don't know if it's his foot. It might be his shin.
Yeah.
Because again, he tried to jump out there and got out in front of this pitch.
Like a curveball.
And boy, that was hurt.
You know what that's like?
No, don't tell us again. Toolbox.
It's like going
you
out
take
to your,
out the hammer,
it's
right?
like going to your garage, to your dad's toolbox, and grabbing a hammer.
No, don't do
and
it.
just taking it right to your shin.
Don't do that.
Not
Ball being hammered.
Not encouraging it. Just that's the analogy. That's the comparison. Peter Moylan, right-hander, warming up for the Dodgers.
That's his first toss. One strike to Venable, and we have a meeting at the mound here as the trainer's going out to check on Stephen Fife. And he hasn't exactly been beaten up here in this inning. All three hits were just well placed, not hard hit. And of course the error factoring in as well.
Yeah, error setting up all of this, but even though the balls haven't been hit hard, they outstanding hitting by the Padres.
While we're watching Venable, apparently Fife.
Trying to watch the follow through. Fife, okay, over his front leg. Didn't see anything there.
And that one pulled foul.
Follow through.
Yeah,
Kind of.
he did react as if something in the small of his back and then it tweaked. So 2 strikes to Venable. First and second, 1 out, 2 runs home here, and the Padres lead 2-1.
Like he's done all night, he's gone with the high fastball with 2 strikes.
Chase Headley would be next. That ball hit high in the air to right field, carrying to the warning path, and Puig just enough room. Tagging and heading to third is Marquis, and here's a late action by Forsythe. Boy, he's a good base runner. He saw that throw coming high and long into third, so he takes up an extra 90 feet.
And this is just a rookie mistake by Puig here. Fly ball to the warning track in right center field. He's got no chance of throwing Marquis out at third. And Forsythe sees the throw as high, and he just streaks right into second base.
Well, Puig has a couple of outfield assists already, and he does have a great arm, maybe over-evaluating the strength of that arm in that situation. So he gives the Padres 2 men in scoring position. Marquis at third, Forsythe at second, and Headley with an opportunity to add to this 2-1 lead. He's about due to come up with a big hit. Takes a strike. Struck out both times tonight. Average down to 219. Kyle Blanks on deck.
I'm just still amazed why he would try to throw that ball all the way to third base.
He's 22.
Yep. Doesn't know any better. Playing well, swinging the bat well. Wants everybody to see his arm. And meanwhile,
well, if I'm a pitcher and that happens, you got to say something to him.
Well, right, they're going to say something to him when he comes in.
Say something, no doubt.
But from the Padres standpoint, they need to take advantage of this.
Well, yeah. Now you take the short way on a ground ball up the middle. The Dodgers can't go to second base for the force out.
Just a little servomation like we've seen here in this inning.
1 ball, 1 strike. And for you fans that are joining us, perhaps having followed the NBA Finals, the Miami Heat have beaten the Spurs of San Antonio 95-88. So the Heat have won it again. Here, the Padres, with 2 runs here in the last of the 5th inning, have taken a 2-1 lead against the Dodgers and have Marquis at third, RBI single, and Forsythe at second, also with a run batted in with a single. Puig, home run, 1st inning for the Dodger run. 2nd and 3rd, but Black's ready to swing the shillelagh. 1-2.
How about Fife changing it up? Remember, he threw the curveball again. That was a tight slider down and in. So giving Chase Headley a different look.
Marquis and Forsythe in scoring position, 1-2. With 2 outs to Headley. Struck him out again. 3 times he struck out tonight. But the Padres put together 3 singles. Amarista, Marquis, and Forsythe. And they have taken a 2-1 lead after 5.
And Bud Black with quite the feat. He's one of 3 pitchers and managers to accomplish this. He's won 100 wins as a pitcher and also 500 wins as a manager. He joins very elite company with Clark Griffith and Walter Johnson. And here's what Bud had to say about it.
I didn't see those 2 fellows pitch live. I just missed them by a couple of years. Very honored to be given the opportunity to manage this team. I'm proud to wear this uniform. I think all managers never, ever not remember how special this is and important it is to an organization. I know that I can't get any more wins on the mound. Maybe in the dugout.
Well, Bud Black, of course, gave great respect to those 2 wonderful men who also pitched and managed in the big leagues, and he really thought it was an interesting fact. He was glad we threw it his way, guys.
Tongue-in-cheek acceptance of all that as we look at The 22-year-old Cuban, Yasiel Puig, home run, and he struck out twice. By the way, but Black finished his big league career with 121 wins. And now 500 plus victories as a manager. Oh, this is Hanley Ramirez, rather. Single and a line out, a bullet line drive out to Headley at third as last time. So it's Ramirez, Ethier, and Uribe against Marquis. That was his 100th pitch. Now has the lead thanks to his own bat. 2-1 San Diego. That ball shoots through the left side. Ramirez is 2 for 3 with a line out. Brings up Ethier.
Ramirez took that sinker and hit it in the hole again for the second time tonight.
Ethier flied out and struck out. Nick Vincent getting ready in the Padre pen.
Yeah, after Ethier, all righties that are in the scheduled lineup for Don Mattingly. That pitch count getting up there, as you guys mentioned. Try to work for a ground ball right here.
Ethier, this is the 71st game of the year for the Dodgers, and he's had a rough go of it 2.5 months into the season. Only 5 home runs, 21 runs batted in, though, so not the numbers you would expect from this talented hitter. And that one's through into right field. Ramirez around second. He'll make it to third. Dodgers come roaring back, and that ball gets away from Siriaco, but not far enough for any further advance. Ramirez finds a hole on the left side. Ethier shoots it through a hole on the right side.
Split finger. This time he stays back long enough to hook it in the hole. Left-hand hitter in this situation, this is what you want to do. You want to get out there in front of something and see him hit it right off the end, but he hooks it right in the hole between first and second.
He got contact there. His fingers come off the bat. The bat stayed in the palm of his hand, but his fingers actually came off the bat and extended.
But Black has his infield playing back. He'll concede the run to get an out. Here's Uribe, a long out to left and a ground ball to second.
Well, this is where you need to strike out here if you can. Get the 2 strikes and we try to get a grounder.
How deep is it? Deep enough. Venable trying to line it up and have a running start for the throw. Here comes Ramirez to the plate, and he'll score easily. It's 2-2. Uribe's 14th run batted in. H.A. Ellis, an infield hit to deep short. 1 out now here in the top of the 6th inning. By the way, the Padres with 2 runs, 3 hits. The error by second baseman Ellis, so 1 of the 2 runs earned. At the knees, strike 1.
Ellis is one of those hitters where they'll hit and run with him.
He's another one of those guys looking for something out of the plate, trying to hit the hole between first and second. Took a shot
like that there on that breaking ball.
Marquis jumps in front, 2 strikes. H.A. Ellis, one of those players, and every organization has one. You wonder if Fife is going to be able to pitch after maybe tweaking his back. At least he indicated something wasn't quite right in that last inning. He was a lifetime minor leaguer, almost at the age of 30. H.A. Ellis, but persevered and made it to the big club and contributed last year and again this. Marquis wanted that one. 2-2. Mark Ellis on deck. Singles by Ramirez and Ethier. First and third to open this inning, and a sacrifice fly to tie it off the bat of Juan Uribe. See that last pitch did miss inside. To third. Headley. Forsythe. Blanks. Double play around the horn. They get the run, but no further damage. And at the middle of the sixth inning, the Padres and Jason Marquis against the Dodgers tied at 2. Island Bulldog Jason Marquis through 6, tied at 2, and our Phantom Freeze Cam brought to you tonight by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Let's go back to Amarista's single that started the 2-run go for the Padres in the 5th, and we freeze it right there. Splinters the bat, but the result's good for the Padres. A base hit to right field.
Hey, it was elevated. He fought it off. He will gladly sacrifice that shillelagh for a base knock. And like you said, Dick, a gritty performance once again by Jason Marquis.
Stephen Fife goes to work in the 6th. Kyle Blanks doubled to left center his last time. Then Denorfia and Amarista. Next pitch from Stephen Fife will be his 80th. Allowed only 4 hits. 3 singles in the last inning with an error. Off the head of the bat, high but shallow into left field, and the catch made by Schumacher. Denorfia steps in. Marquis never seems satisfied, does he?
No.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Once again, he battled.
Yeah, he did. Again, I'm sure he wasn't as efficient as he wanted to be tonight.
Exactly.
But
yeah.
Well, Speed and Denorfia out in front, 1 and 2.
Same with Stephen Fife here. If it wasn't for that error, you know, it might be a different game for him, too.
Every inning for Jason Marquis, with the exception of one. The second inning had a base runner.
7 hits, the home run by Puig. A couple of singles and a sacrifice fly to tie it.
And once again, guys, after that first inning, got the field down, right? The one bad pitch to Puig.
Two-two tie here in the home half of the 6th inning at Petco Park. And Denorfia, he's fallen on some tougher times in the last 2 months, or the last 2 weeks rather. 6 for the last 41, so his average from the 300s down to 274 as he awaits this 3-2 pitch and drives it right at the center fielder Ethier. 2 away. Alexi Amarista. His broken back single leading off the 5th inning after Grandal struck out. Siriaco's ball bobbled by second baseman Mark Ellis. 1st and 3rd. Marquis singled in the tying run, and Forsythe dropped a single into right field to put the Padres ahead briefly, 2-1, before the Dodgers scored their run in the top half of the 6th inning. Another close game. Padres game after game after game. 1 run or 2 runs. You have to go all the way back to the Toronto series for a Padre game to be decided by not 1 or 2 runs.
That's a lot of Maalox and a lot of tunnels for the manager.
Yep. That'll gray you up in a hurry.
It will.
1-1. Ground ball, 1 hopper. Gonzalez gets it to the bag himself. 1, 2, 3 for 5 from the 6th. Tied at 2. On to the 7th inning.
The Dodgers, Mark and Mike with you when we see in the postgame show. Another great job, as Dick calls him, the Staten Island Bulldog. Jason Marquis looking tough tonight.
Well, he is a Bulldog, and it's all about gritty effort. You can see him making adjustments during the game that definitely understand that he knows how to pitch, and you continuously be surprised at Jason Marquis' moxie out there on the field. Outstanding effort tonight.
9 wins on the season for Marquis. He's shooting for number 10. When we see in the postgame show, we'll break down his night. Hopefully a lot more Padres offense as well. You'll hear from the manager, Buddy Black, and our instructional tonight, Tony Gwynn and Mark Sweeney, teach young players and coaches how to turn on that inside fastball. We'll see you after the final out.
That's how the baseball looked to Tony Gwynn when he was in the midst of his great career that year. He should have hit 400. But shortened by the strike that year, right?
Yeah.
Did you finish 390?
394.
Well, Nick Vincent's done a nice job. The right-hander from Ramona. 6th appearance, has yet to give up a run. Only 3 hits. Mark Ellis takes a strike. Ellis and then the pitcher's spot and Schumacher.
Last time out for Nick was back on Tuesday night in San Francisco. 3rd of an inning.
Center field. Amarista. No, it's Forsythe. Out of nowhere, the second baseman never giving up on that one. Amarista was not going to catch it, and Forsythe, an outstanding play.
Again, great jump on this ball. Ellis hits this right off the end of the bat. You see him take a glance out there. He sees Amarista's not going to get to it, and boy, he lays out and makes the play.
That's what you're talking about, Tony Gwynn. What a gamer that Forsythe is.
Brings that effort and enthusiasm every day.
Oh, you got to love that as a pitcher as well. When you make a pitch like that, crack a guy's bat, might dump in there in that Bermuda Triangle, and then Forsythe, it looks like the foot is okay. Getting to that ball quickly.
Elian Herrera, just called up by the Dodgers, will pinch hit for Fife. So both starters go 6 innings. Herrera takes a strike. This is his first at bat in 2013 in the big leagues. Ooh, get him? How did he not get plunked by that one inside? Just jackknifed away, 1-1.
See how the game changes now that both starters are going to be out of the game. Marquis out, Vincent taking his place. Dodgers are going to go to the bullpen.
Marquis goes 6 innings, 2 runs, 7 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. Fife, 6 innings, 2 runs, 1 earned, 4 hits. Struck out 6 and walked only 1. Fly ball toward the line and left. Does Denorfia have room? Did he make that catch? Tumbling into the crowd. There it is, right in the pocket of the glove. Denorfia. They're giving him a standing ovation down there in left field. 2 terrific defensive plays by the Padres, Forsythe and Denorfia here in the 7th.
Outstanding play here by Denorfia. See, he gets to the wall, and then he just lays out and makes the play. Gets some help.
Yeah.
One of the fans helps him. Of course, the guy in the Dodger jersey.
He tried to take it out of his glove.
tried to catch it.
Great concentration. And yes, the Padre fan comes through, helping the Padre left fielder.
Helping him.
Extending the dimensions of Petco Park, Chris Denorfia for that play. Leadoff hitter Schumacher, couple of hits in 3 at bats. So Forsythe takes a hit away from Mark Ellis, and now Herrera denied an extra swing by Denorfia's play. 2 strikes now to Schumacher. I was reminded of Nick Vincent's youth out there in Ramona, and lucky to have neighbors that actually had built a Field of Dreams ball field. The Hubers, Tim and Penny, with the full dimensions,
sure,
the manicured and the good grass and the backstop, because there wasn't one available, a good field available. So he grew up at 12, 13 playing in the neighbor's yard, but a real ball field
That's
yard.
Great.
How about that for a neighbor?
Yeah.
Out of play.
How does Denorfia not catch that ball?
What have you done for us lately, huh?
Tell you what, this Padre team, especially the defense, they'll lay out for these pitchers on the staff.
Schumacher and Ramirez with 2 hits to lead the Dodgers tonight.
Schumacher trying to do like he did the second time tonight, trying to back something up to hit the left.
Ooh, that was a good looking pitch. 2-2. The rookie Puig on deck. And now the count full.
That's that slider from Nick. You see the tremendous movement his feet. He'll also throw that cut fastball and a changeup.
Two tie here in the top of the 7th. And he walked him. So Schumacher on base for the 3rd consecutive time. And Puig, the home run to right center, and then struck out the last 2 times on sliders from Jason Marquis. .28 hits, 6 home runs, first 16 games.
Now Willie Blair down in that Padres bullpen, he's the bullpen coach. He keeps that chart down there. He keeps score. He tells these pitchers exactly what's going on. So what does Nick Vincent do? Throws him a first pitch slider for a strike, because that's the way Jason Marquis was attacking him in this game. Another one.
They'll take the short out at second. And the Dodgers gone in the top of the 7th. Stretch him out. Bottom of the 7th inning. 2-2 tie in San Diego. Forsythe, Denorfia helping out that pitcher. Diego is brought to you by Sequan. Real friendly, real close. By the experienced Buick Lease. It's a new lease on luxury. And by the Aramco Group. Purchase, refinance, reverse. Last of the 7th inning, a 2-2 tie. Starters are gone. It's up to the bullpens. And the Padres against Matt Guerrero will bring up the lower 3rd, Grandal, Siriaco, and the pitcher's spot in the last of the 7th. A walk and a strikeout for Grandal tonight, and there are the numbers for Guerrero.
Well, Matt Guerrero, 4-pitch pitcher, fastball, slider, curveball, and a change. Also throw a hard cutter at times. High 80s, low 90s for Guerrero.
He's given up 3 home runs in his 28 2/3 innings. And 2-1 the count. Changeup. Again, if you weren't with us at the very start, the Dodgers, a weary group coming in. Ground ball fair past 3rd into the left field corner. Grandal greets Guerrero with a stand-up double. And they're having trouble digging it out, and here he's going to try for 3.
And he's going all the way around. Where's the ball? Must be stuck in the fence. GRANDAL touches them all. Schumacher says, I can't find the ball.
Well, GRANDAL does the right thing. You keep running.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a ground rule double. It must have gone in between that padded barrier. Yep, ground rule double is signaled by third base umpire Marty Foster.
Some kangaroo just stole my ball. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is.
Well, GRANDAL, nevertheless, he lights the fuse here in the 7th with a double.
Tailing fastball does a nice job going the other way, right down the line. Let's see what is around. We can't tell from that angle. Let's see if we can tell what happens to the baseball.
We can't see that angle down in the left field corner. And Schumacher indicating I can't find the ball here.
That top hand, the palm is up to the ball, through the ball.
And you know what else I noticed on that slow-mo is how the barrel of the bat stays in that zone, kind of in a level plane.
In the hitting area,
no loop through that hitting zone.
Right.
And the Dodgers are going to meet at the mound here and discuss how they're going to play what they are expecting, a sacrifice. Mark Kotsay is on deck, apparently to hit for the pitcher, Nick Vincent. And here we now have found the angle. It takes a little hop right over that little pad.
Behind the pad.
Yeah. And Schumacher's looking in the wrong spot. He's not much on Easter morning, is he? Can't find the egg. Infield looking for the bunt. Siriaco squares and fouls it. Siriaco, a fly ball to right and safe on the critical error by second baseman Mark Ellis in the 2-run 5th inning.
Well, the way the defense was playing on that one, you want to bunt it down the third baseline to draw in Uribe.
Yep.
Adrian Gonzalez to the mound, and he was looking at Glenn Hoffman all the way. And now Hoffman's going to jog all the way down and say something to Siriaco. Of course, Gonzalez having played here and with Hoffman giving the signs, he may have figured out that Siriaco, the bunt was off and might be swinging. Anyway, he's alerted Guerrier.
Well, you can't let Adrian Gonzalez charge in right here and field this bunt. You can't do it. If you want to get in there close, then you got to play butcher boy and try to hit a ball on the right side.
Yeah, he was going to bunt. Guerrier backs off the rubber. GRANDAL, not a speedy runner, carrying the go-ahead score there at second. No one out.
Well, this is where the secondary lead comes into play as well. As soon as that ball, you see the trajectory of the ball at the bat down towards the dirt, you're off and running towards third base. Hop, hop.
Ball driven to left center field. That may go all the way to the wall. It will. Here comes GRANDAL. He scored. Look at Kiriako's flying to third with a triple, and the Padres lead 3-2. Siriaco hammers one to left center, and the Padres are in front 3-2 with no one out here in the 7th.
See, I like that play because you can't let the Dodger defense dictate what you're going to try to do. And there he hangs look like a changeup, hangs it right in the middle of the plate. And Siriaco lines this thing in the left center field. And because he showed bunt, those outfielders were creeping in a little bit too.
And also, Tony, because he showed bunt as a pitcher, you might think, you know what? If he's going to give himself up, I want to get it done quickly. I'm going to throw a pitch there to where he can get it down and we can get it out. Siriaco was all over that one.
So Matt Guerrier greeted a double by GRANDAL and a triple Siriaco, and with no one out, he goes, and a pitching change made, and Mark Kotsay has been introduced as the pinch hitter. left center field, and yet a taste of how he can run. He flying around the bases. Once that ball was through, he was thinking triple.
Doesn't miss a stride. Gets to third easy. Still looking back at the baseball. He gets to third.
Very fluid, huh?
Yep.
Running those bases, you betcha.
Paco Rodriguez now is in to pitch for the Dodgers. Mark Kotsay has already introduced a left-handed pinch hitter. And here's where Bud Black with a short hand, because Carlos Quentin may or may not be available. Apparently is not. And so he's working with a 24-man roster. He can't do a double switch here and pinch hit for Kotsay. He needs to save whatever bats are available for possible duty later on.
Well, this is your guy right here, because you know the experience Kotsay brings in a situation like this.
Infield will play tight, try to cut off the run at the plate. Kotsay 7 for 24 as a pinch hitter. Takes a strike. Rodriguez with that unusual delivery where it's almost like he's throwing a javelin. He gets that ball way back of his ear.
Good call.
Almost shows you the ball, Tony.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, and 2.
2 sliders to go along with that fastball, a cutter, and a changeup. Hey, Tony, we talked about this before, I think, when we were in L.A. The way that he does come out of the glove like that shows you, but as he strides, it looks like he puts that ball, maybe it's not, but behind his head, and then all of a sudden it comes out from the back of his head.
See the little hesitation once he gets the ball at his complete reach back. He shows you the ball. And let's take a look at it. There it hesitates there.
See there, he's showing you one thing.
And then I think he goes right behind. He brings that ball in to where it goes right behind his cap.
Out in front, Kotsay, and pulls that down into the crowd. That would have gotten the job done in fair territory, and that's what Kotsay's thinking. Just get that ball elevated.
And here it is. See where the ball's exposed, and then right there. See how it goes behind his head right there? And then all of a sudden, bang, it's up on top of you again.
3 straight breaking balls here to Kotsay.
No one out. Siriaco at third. Padres with a 3-2 lead. Outside target. Popped up. Left side. Long run out. And a shortstop Ramirez able to get there in time for the first out. And it'll be up to Logan Forsythe. Try to get the run home on and out. Forsythe grounded out, lined out, and singled in a run.
Yeah, he's had good at bats all night. Hit the ball hard. They're not going to pitch him. That's a smart play here by Don Mattingly.
Set up the double play and take the bat out of the hands of Forsythe.
Another left-hand hitter.
Will Venable. And without Quentin, Mattingly having an advantage in these strategic moves. Padres have Jeff Decker. He's a left-handed hitter. HANLEY a right-handed hitter. And they have Guzman. And let's see if Bud Black plays that card. Guzman with a couple of home runs up in San Francisco, giving the Padres the lead twice. Carlos Quentin still with the warm-up jacket on. So the intentional pass. So first and third with one out.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the San Diego Padres and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, but the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the San Diego Padres.
A.J. Ellis out there. Did you hear the one about the Venable taking a hit away from Venable was Adrian Gonzalez. Would have been a double in the first inning. He's grounded out and flied out. All against the right-hander Stephen Fife. Peter Moylan getting ready in case But Black did use a right-handed hitter, but he's going to stay with Venable. Infield at the moment. Awkward alignment. They got the shortstop Ramirez playing back of the baseline, and the second baseman Ellis playing in on the grass. And there's the bunt, and it's foul.
There was a situation like this up in San Francisco, wasn't there, where Will Venable was trying to bunt?
That's right. He didn't deliver, and he was really angry at himself. And for him, out of character tirade, and then he came back and made that great catch in center field that saved the game for the Padres, and they won it in the 13th.
Here, Adrian Gonzalez is talking to the other infielders here now, because I don't think they were expecting a safety squeeze right there. If you get the ball down in fair territory, the run was going to score.
First and third, one out. Padres getting a run on a leadoff double, Grandal, and Siriaco's triple to left center. It's a big insurance run out there here in the bottom of the seventh.
You know, maybe that's why Don Mattingly is having his second baseman Ellis playing, because of that. You know, if Venable chooses to drag one in between the pitcher and the first baseman, he could charge it and get it, have a good look at the runner at the plate, or he can just get the out at first base or go to second base for the force.
There's the bunt. Here comes the runner to the plate. He is out. And Gonzalez using a glove flip. Didn't take the time to get the ball out of the glove and throw it. He just flipped it to catcher Ellis, and on a close play, Siriaco is out. Terrific play by the heady first baseman.
That's not an easy play, especially when you got a big first baseman's glove like that. We hear bat control. How about glove control there?
So the Padres with a man at third and no one out, unable to get Siriaco home. They're very close at the plate.
Tony, you know as well as anybody, when you try to make a flip like that with a glove like that, you usually get a little humpy hump in it, right?
Yeah.
That ball stayed down nicely out of the glove of Gonzalez for Ellis to glove it and make the tag.
So safe on the fielder's choice is Venable. Forsythe to second base. Headley will bat right-handed for the first time tonight. Struck out all 3 times against Fife hitting left-handed. Siriaco a little gimpy as he went to the Padre dugout, making that slide at home plate. Appears to be okay. Todd Hutchison, the trainer there. Look at that. Amazing that, you know, how accurate that flip was.
Yep.
And Ellis with the tag on that front leg before he could get into the Pentagon. So 1 run in, 3-2. Now Headley. 2 outs, first and second. Ball 1. Kyle Blanks would be next. Now the infield can move back to their normal position. Up the middle and into center field. Here comes Forsythe. The throw is to third base. And it gets away, but not far enough for another run to score. But on to second goes Headley. It's 4-2. Chase Headley delivers.
And aggressive base running right there by the Padres. Chase Headley shortens his stroke, goes right back up the middle. That one he let get a little bit deeper, takes it right back up the middle. And now you watch the base runners, Forsythe going around third. Will Venable putting his head down. You see Forsythe didn't stop running.
That's why you got to hustle.
Kept going through the plate.
Because if that out is made at third base before Forsythe scores, it's no run. Forsythe, as always, giving it 100%.
Dodgers fortunate that ball didn't bounce into the stands. Venable into third as we check our phantom slow-mo. And on the throwing error by center fielder Ethier, Headley goes into second base. So second and third, 2 outs, 2 runs in, and Peter Moylan jogs in from the bullpen. Inning and are still alive with runners at second and third. Blanks the hitter. Peter Moylan coming in out of the bullpen, the third pitcher used in this inning, and it's time now for our Fan Diego fan of the game, or fans of the game. And in our super slow motion, you can hear that cheer all the way up to the press box, and that smile. Happy with the 4-2 lead, and Blanks with a chance to make this a big inning for San Diego. Line drive double to left center. 3 at bats tonight.
Moylan, 3-pitch pitcher, fastball, slider, change. Low 90s on the fastball.
Venable at third, Headley at second.
As you can see by that first offering, low 3/4. Boy, opponent's at nearly 300 off the right-hander in the short time. High on the walk side too, guys. 3 and 6 innings.
Low and away, 2-0. If Blanks keeps it going, Chris DeNorfia is on deck. The 2 runs in this inning, both charged to Matt Guerrero. Gave up the double and the triple. Low and away, 3-0. First base open. Highest batting average from 7th inning on this season. Padres have just battled to the final out all year long and delivered many a time. And they've done it again tonight, at least for the moment, with a 4-2 lead.
Hey, a home run shy of the cycle in this inning.
A tempting thought. I like it. Ball 4. He pitched around length. Bases loaded for DeNorfia. 8th man to bat in the inning. DeNorfia, 2 ground outs and a fly ball to center.
Moylan's a perfect guy for DeNorfia to take the other way right here. 3/4 kind of delivery, likes to work on the outer half.
Never hit a grand slam. And a great average with the bases loaded, 423. Just did bite the outside edge. Padre over every pillow. 1-1.
Good take.
Venable at third, Headley at second, Blanks at first.
Well, how huge was that for Chase Headley there?
Oh, clutch hit. Get that insurance run home and a 2-run lead and a chance for more. One and two. Couple of tough pitches from Moylan. Not very hittable, right on the edge. In fact, that pitch before this one was off the corner. 1-2. Woo, almost to the screen. Good backhanded stop. A.J. Ellis.
This is one of those at bats where you know you're not going to get anything in. Trying to get him to chase that slider, almost threw it to the backstop.
Well, I hope he can work a 3-2 count here, because I'd like to see those base runners going and have Denorfia a chance to hit in a full count.
Way outside again. Well, you get your wish, Mark Grant. Bases loaded, wind him up and let him go. Soft fly ball into right field, and Puig coasts in and grabs it. And that's it for San Diego, but they get 2 runs. Double Grandal, triple Siriaco, and an RBI single from Headley. Where the healthy pets go. By Modelo Especial. Discover the Especial. And by White House Down. It's in theaters June 28th. Joe Thatcher comes in to work for the Padres. Top of the 8th inning. Adrian Gonzalez. Then HANLEY, Ramirez, Andre Ethier, 2 of the 3 left-handed batters. So Thatcher called upon. This game belongs to Nick Vincent if the Padres can hold on for the victory. Gonzalez. A couple of ground outs and a strikeout tonight.
Well, Joe's had a good rest. Last time out, it was in San Francisco back on Monday, the 17th. He twirled an inning.
Strike one.
He struck out 2 Giants in that outing. So he is fresh and ready to go.
Luke Gregerson out in the bullpen. Staying loose if needed. Good swing and a miss. 1-2.
You know, it's so huge for the Padres to get that run back after Adrian Gonzalez made that spectacular play.
Yeah. Good point.
Drive to right field. That's going to chase Venable to the warning path and makes the catch. And let's take a look around the major leagues on this Thursday night. Roy Oswalt called up by the Colorado Rockies, strikes out 11 but gives up 4 runs and 9 hits, and Washington beats Colorado 5-1. David Wright, third baseman, Mets, 2 home runs. Mets edge the Braves 4-3, and Marcell Ozuna of Miami, a 2-run single in the 8th inning, and the Marlins have beaten the Giants 2-1. Miami's getting some terrific pitching of late.
They most certainly are. I think they're like, what are they, 7 in their last 10 games? They're playing really well.
Arizona idle, so the teams that win, and in this case the Giants and Colorado have already lost. Either San Diego or LA will gain a half game on the D-backs. Sharply hit. Headley there in the hole to glove it and throw to blanks for the out. Ramirez has socked it hard all 4 times up tonight. 2 away.
Well, fans, if you want the inside scoop on the Padres, there's only one place to get it. Catch Padres POV. Join Megan O'Leary as she highlights the ins and outs of the Padres from their point of view. Get it? Point of view POV. POV tomorrow at 6 on Fox Sports San Diego, presented by Sequan Casino.
2 outs, and here's Ethier. Ethier a single in 3 trips tonight. That's in there.
Look at how low the elbow gets. And the hand is parallel with the elbow, coming from low 3/4 and getting extended there.
Did not go, says Foster, the umpire at third.
Tell you, just looking at that slow-mo, my ulnar collateral barking. It's a lot of torque on that arm, huh?
And the count goes to 2-2. We talked about H.A. Ellis and one of those stories. You're in the minor leagues for 7-8 years and finally get your chance in the big league level. Well, here's another man. He goes all the way to the independent league for a couple of years to get someone to notice him. Joe Thatcher. Taken by Ethier, 3-2. Just off the plate. Juan Uribe on deck. Line drive, left center field, base hit. Amarista cuts it off. And the Padres, with 2 outs in the 8th inning, bring the tying run to the plate in the form of Uribe. A couple hits for Ethier tonight.
Well, this is like Luke Gregerson, probably. The 4-out save, huh? Or go here and then you send it over to Street in the 9th.
So Thatcher gets 2 outs. Here comes Gregerson. Junior star of the game, Jason Marquis. Another solid 6 innings of work, keeping the Padres in the game. Left with it tied 2-2. He won't figure in the decision, but he continues, especially here at Petco, to be outstanding. And he hit that little chip shot into left field to drive in the Padres' first run to tie it. And the Padres got a second on Logan Forsythe's single to give them a 2-1 lead back in the 5th inning. Well, Luke Gregerson, seems like it's more time has passed since Gregerson was on the mound, but that was just yesterday up in San Francisco, and he has an opportunity to atone for his roughest outing of the entire year when he faced 4 men and all 4 delivered base hits in a 3-run 7th inning, and the Giants went on to win 4-2. Trying to get the final out here in the 8th inning. Uribe, long out to left, a ground out and a sacrifice fly. He's a free swinger.
Well, if there's one pitcher who can turn the page, it's definitely Luke Gregerson after yesterday's outing. Sometimes Luke comes to the ballpark thinking, I'm going to pitch an inning. Hey, this situation here, you get Uribe out in the 9th inning, you turn it over to Houston Street. Hopefully the Padres can add on to the 4-2 lead in their half.
Ethier at first base with a 2-out single. Uribe goes for it. Slider, 1-1.
Don't leave that over the plate.
He's a slider speed home run hitter. Two and one.
You know, sometimes Luke will wrap that slider a little bit more and it'll act as if it's a curveball. Like that last one.
Yeah. It looked like he took a lot more off of that than his regular slider.
That was over the plate, out of play, and Uribe had a pretty good shot.
That's the one I'm talking about. That one might have been hung a little bit, just enough and in just enough.
It was in enough. He's going to have a hard time getting through that one.
4-2, Padres lead it here in the top of the 8th. Uribe representing the tying run. 2 balls, 2 strikes, the count. Last foul to right field. Grandal wanted that one low and away, and that one creeping over the plate, catching a good piece of the plate.
Again, anytime you elevate a ball, you're almost asking for trouble.
Yep. Like the pitch to Puig early in the game, the first inning.
Right center field, long run. That's going to be caught by Amarista. How did he get there in time? What a defensive show by the Padres tonight. Another brilliant play. Little Ninja scraping his chin on the turf to make that catch. Oh my. when you get to lead off the next inning and get another bow. How did he get out there?
Just didn't seem like he was going to ever get to that baseball.
You know, from our vantage point, my goodness, from our vantage point, I thought he had no chance.
Neither did Uribe. He thought this is going to be second and third here. Gregerson helped out by the defense. And if we can see that again, the concentration of Amarista as he's making a dive for the ball, his eyes never left that white spheroid.
He's in the air. He's already flying
Right
to get
into
to
the
that
glove.
ball. Yes, sir.
Oh, beautiful.
What a play.
Eye on the apple.
And that ball slicing away off the right-handed bat of Uribe.
Crowd going crazy, saluting Amarista as he came to the dugout. Bottom of the 8th inning. Moylan still on the mound. Amarista takes a strike. A single in 3 at-bats for Alexi tonight. Scored a run. They're chanting, Amarista. Those college kids having a good time.
We've seen a trifecta of defensive plays.
Yep.
Forsyth, Denorfia, Amarista.
I have a feeling that if you stay tuned to Padres Live after the game, we might just see those 3 again. 1-2 on a changeup. Amarista, Grandal, and Siriaco. As the Padres try to make it 7 consecutive home wins. Remember, they swept all 6 the last time they were here at Petco. And Ramirez able to go back and make the grab. Not quite enough behind that one for Amarista, so 1 out. Grandal, a walk, a strikeout, and led off the 7th inning, the 2-run 7th inning with a double into the left field corner. Houston Street getting ready. He was hitting left-handed and shot that double between the bag and third baseman Uribe to get the 2 runs started in that 7th inning. One ball, 1 strike. Looking ahead to the top of the 9th, and it appears it'll be Houston Street on the mound for the Padres, the lower third of the Dodger order scheduled. A.J. Ellis, Mark Ellis, and the pitcher's spot. Pitchers of record at the moment are Nick Vincent for the Padres and Matt Guerrero, the Dodgers. Siriaco on deck. And a full count to Grandal.
You know, Moylan doesn't throw that hard. It's just the arm angle and that movement of his pitches. He's got the good sinker. He's got that slider trying to dice and slice both sides of the plate. He's got the Rich Gossage mutton chops working a little bit too on that mustache of his.
Ground ball right side. Gonzalez caroms off his glove into right field. Second baseman Ellis probably would have gotten a play on that ball with the pitcher covering, but Adrian, in trying to dive and stop it from squeaking out into right field, actually knocked it away from the second baseman, and Grandal has another hit.
Gonzalez glove in the right field, and you'll take it. And that was a cutter that got in. See, right at the trademark. don't know if he got that bat right there, but it was a whole lot of flex in that one.
You see that bat bending on that?
That's right off the trademark.
Siriaco has scored a run and tripled in another tonight. And he hits this one deep to left field. That's got a chance. And Siriaco will touch them all. His first home run as a Padre, a triple and a homer for Siriaco, and the Padres extend their lead 6-2.
Yeah, take a look at where this pitch is. It's a sinker of and in. Elevated. And look how he gets to that ball. We were talking in the instructional today about turning on the inside pitch. That's exactly what he did right there.
That's a tough pitch to keep fair, isn't it?
Yes.
So Siriaco hitting 8th in the order tonight, producing a triple and a home run. The man in the lineup because of Everett Cabrera's injury, but at the moment looks to be a brilliant pickup by the Padres. Josh Burns making the trade with the Boston Red Sox insurance at the time, and Cabrera wasn't hurt at the time that they found Siriaco available. And he steps in and fills a spot of a Cabrera, who's probably the Padres' most valuable player at this stage of the season, and delivers tonight. Jeff Decker, called up from Tucson. There are his numbers: 260, 5 home runs. Native of Peoria, Arizona, the Padres' training site. And he works the count to 3-0. Major league debut for Decker. Not very tall, but he's well built and strong. He's got home run power. And a 4-pitch walk. Second walk from Moylan. And the top of the order, Logan Forsythe. Yeah, we talked about it earlier, the late inning thunder. Padres. You think back the last 2 years, there were so many games where Padres fall behind. You get to the 8th, 9th, and it wasn't very exciting. But this year is certainly the exception. You don't want to go home early from a Padre game because they're producing some of their best stuff in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings. Forsythe, an RBI single. They walked him intentionally in the 7th inning, and he scored. One thing certain about Dodger games, you're going to get 3 hours or more for your money. Rick Honeycutt coming out to talk, and we can tell you about tomorrow's pitching matchup. Clayton Richard going for the Padres against the ace of the Dodger staff, Clayton Kershaw, Cy Young winner. Kershaw is only 5-4, but don't be misled by that. A 1.84 ERA, and Richard, after an 0-5 start, has won his last 2 decisions. 6:30 here on Fox Sports San Diego tomorrow night. Hope you'll join us. Remember, 4 o'clock Saturday game on Fox National TV, and then Sunday 12:30 final game of this 4-game series. It'll be Andrew Kashner. Dodgers have not as yet announced who will be their pitcher. They, because of the rain out in New York, had to use 2 men yesterday. Probably would have gotten Ryu, but he'll be saved for early next week. Strike 1 to Forsythe. Couple of big insurance runs here off the bat of Pedro Siriaco for a 6-2 lead. Right field hit pretty well, but Puig has a beat on it. There's that big arm of his as he fires all the way back to Gonzalez. Of course, he with his arm, was able to solidify a Dodger win, doubling up Denorfia earlier in Los Angeles. Not the case this time, and 2 outs to Will Venable. Will 0 for 3 tonight. Actually 0 for 4. Safe on a sacrifice fielder's choice. Tried to safety squeeze the last time up. At the knees, first strike. So it's Clayton Richard, Clayton Kershaw tomorrow night. Saturday, Volquez and Greinke. And Sunday, Cashner against the pitcher to be announced. Fouled away. And then the Phils are here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's a very attractive homestand, and fans taking advantage on this Thursday night. 30,656. A nice following to see this game battled down to the late innings, and the Padres taking a 4-2 and now a 6-2 lead.
Yeah, this is a team, if you're coming to this ballpark, especially here in San Diego, close, trailing a little bit, 6th, 7th inning, go get another social sparkler and settle down in that chair. This is the best reality show on TV, for crying out loud.
The 2 Claytons, the 2 left-handed Claytons, Kershaw and Richard. Runner goes, and the throw to second base is in time, with Ramirez making the tag. H.A. Ellis has the best record throwing out potential stealers in the National League, and he gets another one. But they don't get Siriaco. Home run number 1 as a Padre, and it's 6-2. Aboard indeed, and Pedro Siriaco in his first week as a Padre, 2 for 4, a triple and a home run tonight. Also safe on an error, scored a couple of runs, so he's 7 for 17 as a Padre. Houston Street, it's a non-save situation with the Padres leading 6-2. Makes his 25th appearance of the year.
Well, last time out for Houston, he did record a save in San Francisco. That was back on the 17th. That was on Monday night.
That was the 13-inning game the Padres won, thanks to the great catch by Venable. Well, this Padre defense is a highlight film this last week. Lower third to the order, the 2 Ellises and a pinch hitter for the Dodgers in the top of the 9th. Ellis a single in 3 trips, also grounded into a double play. Battled some injury problems this year, but now in full health. One ball, one strike. Just off the plate, 2-1.
You know what I like about Yasmani Grandal is that he over exaggerates a little bit with his target, and that tells the pitcher, that enables the pitcher to get extended, to get it out there. Watch when he sets up here. If he sets up away, see how his glove's a little bit off the plate there, just a little bit, just to have him get extended.
The two-seamer comes back over, catches the corner, 2-2.
I just love the way he sets up behind home plate.
And the count goes full. Got to make them hit their way on here with a 4-run lead. Ever studying pitching coach Darren Paulsley.
He lives and dies with every pitch.
Nothing escapes his view. High fly ball to deep left center field. That one's carrying a long way to left. And gone into the bullpen. Ellis makes it 6-3. And the home run bug bites Street again. Number 3 for A.J. Ellis. And the Padre lead 6-3. And how big was that home run by Siriaco in the bottom of the 8th inning?
Look at that ball leaking middle in, two-seamer. Grandal wanted it away, and that's been the issue with Houston. And he'd be the first to admit it. He has to hit his spots.
Less than 24 innings. He's now given up 8 home runs. But the Padres still with a 3-run advantage as Mark Ellis steps in. And Street jumps in front, 2 strikes.
That's why location is so important, as we saw. You know, Grandal wanted that ball away. It leaked over to the inside part of the plate, and good hitters. That's what happens. Do what he's supposed to do.
And a base hit to right field off the bat of Mark Ellis. And that'll bring up a pinch hitter. And Jerry Hairston Jr., former Padre, being introduced.
And kind of in the middle of the plate right there.
And upper thigh high as well.
Elevated. Good hitting on Ellis's part, not trying to pull it.
And the Dodgers base runner away from bringing the tying run to the plate now with the top of the order after pinch hitter Hairston takes a strike. Schumacher, Puig, Gonzalez, the heavy guns.
Huge gap, huge left center. You can split that there.
Hairston hitting a respectable .270 this year, 1 home run. Another base hit. And the Dodgers, with no one out, bring the tying run to the plate. Home run, single.
I would think you'd get Dale Thayer up here.
Dale Thayer indeed. Going to try to get ready in a hurry as this has happened very suddenly.
Well, that ball was off the plate, but elevated above the knees there. Good plate coverage by Jerry Harrison. He's a guy who's always going to give you a good at-bat.
Kind of hit that right off the end of the bat.
Schumacher, a couple of singles and a walk, 2 for 3 tonight. It's a hurried warm-up for Thayer. Ball 1. That's a strike. 1-1.
Here, you just tried to help Street out. Hoping you can get a ground ball, maybe turn to. Have a ball hit at somebody.
Gaping hole in right center field. Broken bat ground ball. Can they get 2? There's 1. Back to first base. A double play. Big, big, big. As the Padre defense continues to shine tonight.
That's a good pitch by Houston Street. Sinker.
Yep.
Schumacher hits it right off the end, and he knows as soon as he hits this ball, he's got to go. Rocco turns the double play.
Tough to beat that little white ball, huh? Nice turn. All the way around. Forsythe, Siriaco, you betcha.
Mark Ellis at third now with 2 outs, and Puig homered, second man to face Jason Marquis in the first inning, homered to right center field, and then he struck out twice against Marquis and grounded out.
This is what a nice two-seam sinker does to your bat. Kindling.
This is a big at bat right here. You need to get him out. You got to get him out.
Adrian Gonzalez next. 1-1. But the double play takes the tying run off the bases. Now the tying run's in the on deck circle. 6-3. H.A. Ellis giving Dodger fans hope with a leadoff home run to make it 6-3. Then singles by Mark Ellis and pinch hitter Jerry Hairston before Schumacher's double play ball.
Got to pitch him away, play him away, right?
2-1.
Unlike Marquis, Street doesn't have the same kind of slider.
The man you don't want to face in this ninth inning is Adrian Gonzalez, as he would represent the tying run.
So we're going to have to make a pitch to Puig right here.
His home run back in the first inning, a solo shot, his 6th home run this month. Changeup. Got him out in front, 2-2.
See Puig wanting to initiate the action, wanting to go get it.
30,656 entertained right down to this at bat. Got enough of it to stay alive. Went after a ball well out of the strike zone. Padres may have learned something about how to pitch to Puig tonight. Make him go after those breaking balls away.
Changeup.
Got him swinging, strike 3. The Padres win it 6-3. Back-to-back changeups. And Puig strikes out for the third time tonight.